Hey, this is Rosemary, your transformational coach and trainer. Have you ever attended a speech somewhere or a presentation and you felt like that person was struggling to quote somebody else, or they're trying to remember something they read in a book, or they're just trying too hard to come out and relate to the topic they're talking about? This happens a lot when somebody hasn't learned the subject or whatever it is that they're talking about. So the other rule we are going to look at in public speaking is that you need to know your subject. You need to know the content inside out. And you have to be able to bring it out in a way that it is relating to you so well that it's coming out as if it is your content and not content that you read somewhere else. The worst thing that you want to happen to you in a presentation is to try to remember somebody's quote and you remember half of it and the other half can't really come out. Or you're trying to remember something you read somewhere, you can't remember who the author was, or you can't remember the exact words. Why not just internalize those words and bring them out in a paraphrased way, in a nice way that you totally understand and that the other person can relate. So the third rule in public speaking is that you need to know your subject inside out. The beauty of getting to know your subject is that it gives you confidence. There's nothing as good as speaking something that you're comfortable with. So you need to know it inside out. What exactly is it that you're talking about? What is the history of that topic? What is trending about that topic right now? How does that topic relate to the kind of audience you're dealing with right now? Because that same topic can come out very differently depending on the kind of audience that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with young people, dealing with people who are working, dealing with people who are in a different kind of a setup, the topic can totally be twisted and have very different content. So it is not just having to know that subject in one angle, it is knowing that subject inside out, but also being able to relate it to the audience that you have. So you have to know your content inside out. It has to come from you internally in a way you have internalized it so well that you can be able to explain it like you know it word for word. Not like you're trying to remember how you read it in a book, not like you're trying to express it in a way another speaker expresses it, not in a way that you're trying to quote and overquote people to a point where it becomes somebody else's content and not your own content. So that's the rule number 3. Remember, we had rule number 1, which was to know your audience. The rule number 2, which was to have a roadmap. Our rule number 3 now is that you have to know your subject, know your content inside out as much as you can. But even as you give out this content, remember our rule number 4, less is more. Sometimes people get carried away by the content and the audience because probably the audience looks so engaged and the content is something you're probably very passionate about, and you forget yourself in that process. You are given 20 or 30 minutes to make a presentation, but because it's something you're very passionate about, sometimes even the crowd is not following, but because it's something that is so close to your heart, you continue and continue for hours and hours, and you forget yourself in that process. What is likely to happen is you probably have lost your roadmap, so you're adding things that you probably had not planned to give, and in the process you're likely to water down the main points that you had wanted to deliver. So remember, at any one time, less is more. You're better off giving less that is impactful than giving too much that is not impactful. When you give too much, you likely get along meandering from one corner to the other, and you're likely to lose your flow. So point number 4 is that less is more. So the other point in public speaking is that you need to engage with your audience. It depends on how big or small your audience is. Obviously, if you have a smaller audience, the better for you, because you can actually get to ask questions and get responses as you continue. That keeps your crowd engaged. But if you're dealing with a bigger audience, then you might have a bigger problem because you might not be able to talk to them one-on-one. But there is a way you can engage them with the rhetorical questions, and you can always check from their faces. You can be able to tell whether they are following or not. Obviously, if they are not following, then you probably need to switch or do something different so that they can be able to follow. So be very keen to make sure that your people or your audience are engaged, irrespective of whether it's a small crowd or a bigger crowd. As you continue, you can be able to tell whether they are with you or not. If they are with you, fine, you can keep up. If they are not with you, what is this one thing you could eject in the process to make sure that they can be able to keep up with you? So that the next items to do in public speaking. Remember, point number 1 or the number 3 for this case is that you need to know your subject inside out. Don't show up and look like you're trying to remember or trying to overquote other people. Next, remember that less is more. Don't keep talking and talking and talking until you lose the flow of the conversation. Stick to whatever topic and presentation you had in mind and flow with it as it is. And then remember to engage the people. Look around and ensure that people are engaged. If they're not looking engaged, what could you eject? Is it a facial gesture that you need to put up? Could it be humor? Could it be a story? You need something that you could put in there so that you can keep the crowd engaged, because if they're not engaged, then they're not following. Keep following as you keep looking at other points to consider in public speaking. Thank you.